The second creation story, found in Genesis 2, is also taken from the Sumerians, as is the six-day creation in chapter 1. In this case, the story comes from the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is the oldest surviving written story that is based on the even earlier Epic of Atra-Hasis. Interesting points from the epic to note are: 1. The serpent is not evil, 2. The woman is a goddess, and 3. This story predates the biblical version by over 2,000 years. The Jewish population living in exile in Babylon came into contact with Sumerian stories, and upon their return to Jerusalem following their release by Cyrus the Great, the Bible stories first began to be compiled and expanded, with the Epic of Gilgamesh transformed and incorporated into the Genesis creation narratives. Additionally, exposure to Zoroastrian dualistic influences from Persia began to appear in the post-exilic writings known as the priestly sources. The fall of mankind from chapter 3 also had a major influence on the evolution of Judeo-Christian tradition, as Joseph Campbell notes.
You see, with that fall in the garden, nature was regarded as corrupt. There's a myth for you that corrupts the whole world for us. And every spontaneous act is sinful because nature is corrupt and has to be corrected, must not be yielded to. You get a totally different civilization, a totally different way of living, according to your myth as to whether nature is fallen or whether nature is itself a manifestation of divinity, and the spirit being the revelation of the divinity that's inherent in nature.
The serpent imagery is also problematic for a number of reasons. 1. It overlooks the positive connotations in Eastern cultures, including within early Judaism, and which the documentary The Bible's Buried Secrets covers in detail. 2. Later Christians associated Satan with the serpent, an interpretation that is completely lacking in both the original Sumerian story and the Hebrew version, but is an interpretation that has entered Western popular culture and is commonly held in Christian societies. For how the story evolved in later Christianity with the serpent becoming associated with Satan, please see my second video on Jordan Peterson's biblical misinterpretations. The myth of the fall of humanity in the garden narrative also played a key role of a development within Christianity, as the death of Jesus was seen as a requirement for human redemption. Then, in the later development by Augustine, he predicated the virgin birth of Jesus as a necessity for his doctrine of original sin, as a way to circumvent the fallen nature of humanity being transmitted to him. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to get notified of new videos. Please also consider supporting my work by becoming a Patreon sponsor. You can also find me on the following platforms: